Hi everyone, my name is Alex Dunne and I am the author of The Book of Secrets. And I was delighted to learn that The Book of Secrets has been nominated for the KPMG Children's Book Ireland Awards. So The Book of Secrets tells the story of what happens when the fairies come back to a small town after 50 years to hold their Halloween revels. The hero of the story is Kat Donnelly, who is 11 years old and who possesses an ability called the Sight. And what the Sight is an ability to be able to be more in tune with the supernatural. So things like ghosts and magic and fairies are all things that Kat can really sense. And this is something that she and her granny really bond over. So her granny tells her all these stories, and Kat likes to collect them and write them down in an old copybook that she calls her Book of Secrets. And it is one of her most treasured possessions. So when the fairies come back to Clonbridge in the days leading up to Halloween, their arrival disturbs another creature called the Puka. And if you know about the Puka, you know that he is kind of a shadowy trickster figure, and he loves nothing more than to cause a little chaos. And what better time to cause chaos than Halloween? So the Puka has a plan. He's going to steal away some children and he's going to give them to the Queen of the Fairies as a gift for the revels. But one of the children he steals away is Kat's baby brother, Mikey. But since Kat has the Sight, when she wakes up on Halloween morning, she can tell right away that something isn't right with Mikey. She knows it's not really her brother, but it is a changeling. And she resolves she's going to do everything she can to get Mikey back from the fairies. But unfortunately for Kat, Granny, the fountain of all knowledge, has suffered a heart attack and is in hospital. So Kat has to figure out how she's going to save Mikey completely by herself. But she's not really by herself, because it turns out that her next door neighbour, Jenny, was also stolen by the fairies. And Jenny's older brother, Shane, was Kat's ex-best friend. So they had been best friends their whole life until they had a falling out. But on this night, when both of their siblings have been stolen away, they decide that they will team up and work together to get them back. So they head out into the night on Halloween, and along the way they encounter all manner of creatures, including ghosts, a water fairy called Emero, and a headless coachman called the Dullahan, who is out to steal their souls. And all of this before they even make it to the fairy fort called the Greenrath. So will they succeed in getting their siblings back? You'll have to read on to find out. So I've been asked a couple of times over the past few months what the inspiration behind the Book of Secrets is. And I wish I could say that it all came to me in one flash of inspiration, but that's not really the case. For me personally, ideas are never one big idea that just appears. They're a series of smaller ideas that I collect over sometimes months or years, until eventually I start to kind of see connections between these ideas and how they could work together into a bigger story. So in the case of the Book of Secrets, I'd always loved tales of mythology and folklore. I grew up absolutely loving these things, so they were something that were always in the back of my head, and especially the fairies, because I truly think Irish fairies are so interesting and complex and nuanced, and I really, really wanted to tell a story with them in it one day. I had also visited a site back home called Mahon, which is an old Bronze Age fort a few kilometres away from where I grew up in Shannon. It's just outside of Newmarket and Fergus. And I remember visiting that with my uncle and walking around looking at these old ruins, and I came upon one. And it looked to me exactly like a fairy fort because it had this tree just growing through the middle of it. And to me, it just looked so magical. So I remember taking a picture of that. So yeah, jump to 2018 and I decided I was going to take part in something called NaNoWriMo, which, if you don't know, is an annual challenge where writers from all over the world decide that they're going to try and write an entire novel draft in 30 days. So that is 50,000 words in 30 days. So I decided I was going to take part in it and I wanted to write something new. I had a ton of half-finished projects, but I knew for this I wanted it to be something new and something fun. So I went back over my old notes, over my old ideas, and I started to kind of see some patterns and some ideas that could work well together. So I found that picture I'd taken in Mahon Woods, and I had found a line I had written maybe a year or two before. And then this idea started to kind of emerge for me. I started to think, what if I told a story set pretty much all on one night, on Halloween night? And what if I brought in all of these figures that I had heard about as a child? So to talk about the fairies. And as I did some research, I started to learn about other creatures that I didn't really know much about, like the Merrow, for example, who is a kind of sea fairy. So she's kind of like similar to stories of Selkies, but just there seemed to be something a little bit more vicious about them, and I thought that was really interesting. And learning about the Dullahan, this headless coachman from Irish folklore who roams around the countryside at night looking for souls. And I just thought I really wanted to tell a story that brought all of these elements in, and that felt like an adventure and felt fun to write. And it was such a fun experience to write. I absolutely loved every second of it. So I wrote the entire first draft in 1 month in 2018. And then I had a lot of rewriting to do to bring it from that very rough first draft up to the book that I have today, the book that was published. So if I was to give any advice to young writers, young people hoping to tell their own story one day, what I would say is to just go for it. Really try and tell your full story in one messy draft, and don't worry about it being perfect, because I can tell you this, the first draft of the Book of Secrets was so far from perfect. But what it was it was finished. And I was able to then go back and rewrite it and make it better. And, through a few rounds of doing that, I was able to take that very, very rough story and bring it to the book that is here today. So thanks again to everyone at Children's Book Ireland's and the KPMG Children's Book Ireland Award for selecting the Book of Secrets as one of your shortlist. I could never have dreamed this happening back in 2018 when I was writing that messy draft, but I'm so grateful and thank you so much.